This is Autoline Daily, the show that's dedicated to all the people who are enthusiasts of the global automotive industry. Sean is on the media launch for the Cadillac Escalade V-Series, so I'll be filling in for the next couple of days. And you know, you'd think that after 2 years, the chip shortage would start to be easing up, but it's not. It's actually getting a little bit worse. Ward's Intelligence reports that U.S. inventory of new cars, trucks, and vans dropped 2.6% from April to May. Automakers and car dealers had 30,000 fewer vehicles in inventory at the end of May and only a 25-day supply. Compared to a year ago, inventory is down 25%. This is a key reason why most automotive analysts are lowering their sales forecast for the year, because if automakers cannot make more cars, there's no way that sales can go up. Meanwhile, in Russia, automakers don't just face a chip shortage. They're grappling with a shortage of everything, as just about every country in the world stopped exporting parts and components to Russia because of its invasion of Ukraine. Bloomberg reports that new car sales in Russia plummeted 84% last month. Automakers only sold 24,000 cars in May. That's about 1/10 of what they would sell in a good year, and they're just living off the last remnants of their inventory. Russia nationalized Renault's operations in Russia and wants to start making the Moskvich this month. That's a revival of an old Russian car brand. But even if production can resume, the cars will not have any safety or emissions equipment because all that kind of technology had to be imported. They say that solid-state batteries will be the killer app for EVs, and while they're still years away from mass production, they are making progress. Solid Power, which is developing solid-state batteries, says it will ship its first pre-production battery cells to Ford and BMW by the end of the year so they can start performing validation tests. Solid Power says it has enough pilot production capacity to make prototype cells for other automakers, but it wants to develop these batteries, not make them. It's looking for a partner to build them as early as 2026, and it says SK Innovation is one potential partner. For more about Solid Power, check out our Autoline Exclusives interview with Doug Campbell, the CEO of the company. We'll provide a link in the transcript or the description box below.
We want to know what drives your testing. OTA, connected car, diagnostics, remote testing. Intrepid Control Systems is here to help you work from anywhere. Intrepid Control Systems, driven by your data.
Performance enthusiasts in the United States are spending big bucks to soup up their vehicles. SEMA, which is the Specialty Equipment Market Association, says sales of specialty equipment parts hit an all-time high last year. Its members booked $50.9 billion in sales, and that was $3 billion more than in 2020. More than 80% of specialty equipment customers said they spend just as much or even more time working on their vehicles now than they did in 2020. Pickup trucks are the most modified type of vehicle, with an estimated 13.6 million trucks getting some sort of updates in 2021. But SEMA expects the increase in sales to be short-lived and soften this year, all because of part shortages. Magna, meanwhile, is making it easy for any pickup truck maker that wants to convert to electric. All an automaker has to do is pull out the conventional IC powertrain, bolt in Magna's e-beam onto the rear suspension, and add a battery pack. The e-beam provides 335 horsepower and 7,375 pound-feet of torque, as well as 14,500 pounds of towing and 0 to 60 times of only 4.6 seconds. It will even turn a 13.7-second quarter-mile time at 99 miles an hour. It fits right in where the conventional axle would go, so there's no need for any architectural modifications. And Polestar has made it official. It pulled the wraps off its first SUV, the Polestar 3. Even so, it didn't divulge a lot of details, but here is what it did say. The launch edition will have dual motors and a large battery, large enough to deliver 600 kilometers of driving range. That's about 372 miles, but it's based on the WLTP test procedure, so we would expect the EPA rating to be about 10% less. Polestar says it will eventually offer autonomous highway driving thanks to a LiDAR unit from Luminar and a centralized computing architecture powered by NVIDIA GPUs. The Polestar 3 will be made in the US and China starting early next year, and then it's going to be followed by the Polestar 4, a smaller, performance-oriented SUV, and then comes the Polestar 5 in 2025, which is going to be the production version of that stunning concept car called the Precept. And by the end of 2025, Polestar hopes to be selling 290,000 cars a year globally.
At Schaeffler, we pioneer motion. Electrifying mobility, manufacturing smarter, reducing CO2 emissions, making energy production clean. Schaeffler pioneers motion to advance how the world moves.
The future of Michigan is extraordinarily bright. We have such incredible assets, and I think more and more we're realizing how to put those together in a way that's going to help this state really help lead the nation as we go forward.
Last month, Android revealed the new version of Android Auto, and now Apple is showing off its new connected car tech and just unveiled the next-gen version of CarPlay. It integrates with the vehicle's hardware and provides content on multiple screens, not just the infotainment display. It allows passengers to control the radio or climate functions directly through CarPlay. And using vehicle data, it can display the speed, fuel level, temperature, and more info on the instrument cluster. And users can personalize the display and choose different gauge cluster designs. Apple is going to share more details about the new version of CarPlay in the future, and it'll announce what vehicles will be compatible with it late next year. Anyone who lives in the snowbelt has had to try to go out and scrape ice off their windshield. And you know, it's a hassle. It's time-consuming. So a Canadian startup called Better Frost Technologies came up with a better idea. Here's Derek Redding, the CEO of the company, explaining how it works.
We provide high-voltage pulsed electricity into the conductive layer inside of the windshields. And these new windshields that are coming out in electric vehicles already have a metal layer in it to reduce solar gain, to reduce the HVAC load for cooling in the summertime. We're using that same metal layer to also provide defrost and defog, and it's right there at the glass where you want to either get the frost off the front side or get the fog off of the inside of the glass. So in an average commute in the winter, we'll increase range of an electric vehicle by about 38 kilometers or 25 miles. And that energy savings is worth about $600 per vehicle to the OEMs that are designing these new electric vehicles.
Better Frost is one of the winners of the GAMIC Awards. That's the Global Automotive and Mobility Innovation Challenge. It's a competition for automotive startups from all over the world. And that was the topic on last week's Autoline After Hours. In fact, we had 3 other winners on the show. A German company that has a cheaper solution for public EV charging stations, a Polish company that uses nanotechnology for coating metals, and an American company that developed a zinc battery which delivers the performance of a lithium battery at the cost of a lead-acid battery. And you can find that show on our website and on our YouTube channel. And then this Thursday, join me and Gary when our special guest will be Emil Korkor, who's the Assistant Vice President for Sales at Acura. And with that, we wrap up today's report. Thank you for watching.
Autoline Daily is brought to you by Bridgestone, solutions for your journey. Intrepid Control Systems, over-the-air engineering, boost your game. Schaeffler, we pioneer motion. And by the Michigan Economic Development Corporation.